Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and today I'm proud to bring you Pride of Olympus, our StarGate Olympus crossover. And we have Pamela Fernsler, and we have the Chandlers, Tina and Brian. Greetings and welcome, all panelists. How are you today?
Okay.
Good, great.
Fantastic. Um, right now, I've seen a lot of rumors as to what's going to happen with Star Trek next, but I haven't really had time to pursue them like I've been pursuing the Stargate. So maybe you guys can shed some light on them. I heard there was going to be a movie along the lines of Star Trek Year One. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Tina, have you heard anything about it?
I've heard it's not going to be a movie. It's going to either be a mini series or like a 1 or 2 season thing like Picard was.
Okay. Brian, I could hardly hear you.
Hang on. Okay, how's that? Okay.
Perfect. So you said it's not going to be a movie, it's going to be a mini series like Picard was?
I've heard it's not going to be a movie. It's either going to be like a 1 or 2 season series like Picard was. And it's supposed to lead right into the original series, which there's talk now that they want to completely redo that too.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about that, but now you're echoing.
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
How's that?
A little better, but still echoing.
No, I can't hear you. All right, hang on. Hang on. Screw it here.
Sometimes it's the proximity of the devices that causes the echoes.
That could very well be too. Okay, can you hear me now?
It echoes, but less.
How's that?
Better.
Okay, try that.
Okay, so it's going to be like Picard, like a series like Picard. It's not going to be a movie.
Correct. That's what I've heard.
Tina, have you heard anything different?
No, that's what he's told me because I'd heard the rumors that it might be a movie, but he says no, it's going to be a series.
And how about Star Trek Academy? That's something else I heard was happening, but then I heard it was happening under Kurtzner. Now Kurtzner's out, so it might not be happening. Then I heard that they filmed a few episodes. So I've heard a lot of things about that. What have you guys heard?
The official thing right now is that it is a 2 season series that they've already got film done in the can. It's all ready to go. Now that Paramount is bought out by, I guess, Skydance, there's talk now that they're going to just completely stop all the Trek stuff that's existing now and start their own thing.
Wow.
And are they going to canonize the Kurtzman stuff? Some of the Kurtzman stuff was really good.
I have heard both ways, but the rumor right now is that they're actually going to say yes, it was an alternate universe. Yes, it's a different timeline. It's Trek, but it's not.
Okay, and that's from the original Trek, where they had the mirror universe. So there are alternate dimensions in Star Trek, and that was established from the very beginning. So that makes sense. So is the new stuff going to be alternate timeline too, or is it going to be original timeline? If
That I don't know.
Timeline, I guess that it would be an alternate timeline. I heard that they were changing the original Star Trek, and they started in Strange New Worlds. They started changing the canon a little bit. We talked about that.
More than a little bit, but yeah.
So
they've added quite a bit of stuff to it, but they've messed it up in other ways.
Pamela, how do you feel about this changing canonization and all the different versions of Star Trek floating around now?
Sort of like in the comics when they had all the universes come together in DC and tried to mesh it into one. Good idea in the comics, not so good For us older folks who remember the way it was and how it progressed, it could be completely confusing unless you start over and say this never existed, which a lot of fans will say, oh, yes, it did. I don't know if they'll bring back Chris Pine for this or if they'll have an alternate universe, maybe not mirror, because we're familiar with that. And I kind of like the Discovery universe, to tell you the truth. When they went ahead many centuries, and the portals that they found are getting really close to the StarGate stuff that they're doing on planet Earth right now, and have been for at least 15 years or more, just starting with FDR.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Star Trek stuff. I was collecting I have most of the seasons, but then I just stopped at a certain point. It became a little bit too much to follow. So
Right.
Discovery, I think I have the first 3 or 4 seasons. I have Picard the first couple of seasons. I have Below Decks the first couple of seasons. I have the other one. It was animation the first season, and I had Strange New Worlds the first seasons. So I think at that point I stopped collecting them. I have all the old ones, the Star Trek the original series, the Next Generation, um, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Voyager, and all the movies. I have all of those.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just stopped with the Kurtzman stuff. There was just too much coming out, and it became overwhelming to try to keep track of it all. But
Yeah,
I
is it
watching
is
everything.
isn't Sundance taking over
What do you mean?
for Paramount?
Yes.
Yeah. Um, Brian, do you know if it's Sundance that's going to reconstruct the entire Star Trek universe?
From what I've heard, the Skydance thing is going to basically stop everything that they've been doing so far. And there's talk of either decanonizing it or just saying, okay, it's like the Kelvin timeline. It's going to be a separate, its own thing. So you'd have everything from original series through Nemesis as the Prime timeline. And then you would have the Kelvin timeline with the 3 movies. And then you would have the Discovery / Strange New World / whatever timeline as the third one. And then Skydance is going to do a 4th one.
Could they possibly do something with Assignment Earth? They were going to do that originally, but it got canned as an idea.
I don't know if that's even crossed their minds, to be honest.
Kind of like to see that, because that would be similar to a portal that Gary Seven used.
I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it. I don't even think they're sure what they're going to do with it. I do know that a lot of fans and a lot of the companies that were dealing with them for product is starting to get irritated at them because apparently they've jacked up the licensing fees for Trek stuff by like 2,000%, literally.
Oh man, oh boy.
Now you guys were or are still part of fandom. I was part of fandom years ago. I had a Klingon club, but we weren't really Klingons. We appeared as Klingons, but we were actually deities. We were the Olympians in Star Trek Humor and Stratonise.
Right.
We take different cultural guises. So with the Klingons, like with the Norse pantheon, we were trying to cultivate the warrior spirit in humanity, in the different types of humanity, to fight a bigger war with titanic forces. And we did that for over a decade and a half. And we produced a lot of written material and art material, and we did a lot of guerrilla theater at conventions. But I haven't really been involved in fandom since then. But you guys have been. So what fandoms are you involved with, Pam?
I was involved with PSFS, Philadelphia Science Fiction Society. But the first group I really joined was the Los Angeles Science Fiction Society, which is like only a 2-month birth date from PSFS, or so they say. My first costume was from Who Mourns for Adonis, one of the Greek costumes when I was a lot thinner. Wouldn't do so good now. And that was a radio, what do you call that? They were promoting. It was a radio promotion. It was a Star Trek party. And that was the first thing I ever went to for Trek, for any science fiction. Right now, I'm involved with the USS Sovereign here in Philadelphia and have been for the past 33 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the longest I've ever, but I've been a science fiction fan since 1962 when I was 12 years old. So I've been in science fiction for a long time, and I've seen the evolution of it go from an underdog literary genre to, I've got to see this movie type of thing. So it's no longer an underdog genre, and I've seen comics do that too, with the movies, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. 4 different actors played Spider-Man. So I've seen the evolution, basically, of science fiction in over like 60 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was just a kid, when I went to the library at Chambersburg, and the youth section, interestingly, carried science fiction. So yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been involved for a very long time. Brian and Tina, how about you? What fandom are you currently involved with, and what fandom have you been involved with in the past?
Wow.
You're up.
Me up. Okay. Wow. Fan ever since I can remember. I mean, Star Trek was one of the few shows my mom would ever let us watch.
Yeah.
So started off with that, and as the 80s went on, they had Buck Rogers of the 25th Century, rest in peace, Gil Gerard.
Yep.
And then wanting to develop a anthropomorphic society, because I didn't feel that there was enough anthropomorphics in Star Trek. Even though there was Maress and some of the others that were in the cartoon, they weren't live. And then when Brian and I got together, we formed the Odyssey. That was many, 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 many moons ago, 2 kids ago, and a lot of way to go.
Is the Odyssey
we're kind of like in retirement right now. We advise other groups. We have talked over with other groups about maybe reforming or forming their own groups, but really haven't done a lot, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's been to both he and I's. Our health has not been the very best, and so that's been the way it's going. And we also were involved with how would you put it, squabbling with the local Klingon group.
Yeah, you can call it that.
what is that
And
involved?
also going to conventions all the time with Brian with his store, and sometimes going up by ourselves. That was a lot of fun.
So what are you doing with the local Klingons recently?
We pester them.
You pester them, okay.
We pester them. Yeah, the old word that still rhymes real. We pester them. We irritate them. We remind them how you're not supposed to have, what was that ceremony where someone cut their hand literally to the bone with a sport, with a what do you call it?
Yeah, with the Doc Hog.
What? Yeah, with the fake Doc Tog.
No, it was a real Doc Hog.
Oh, it was real Doc Tog. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was supposed to cut. He had a blood bag rigged on the back of his hand. He was supposed to cut the back of his hand, and he got so into it, he just grabbed the blade like they did on the show and pulled, and he goes, "Oh, blood!" and keels over backwards in a dead faint.
Oh, yeah.
Sliced his hand almost to the bone. I think they said it was like 20 some odd stitches just to close the thing.
Oh, geez.
The funny part was the next con, they actually took his knife away from him and presented him with a Klingon style plastic spork and said he was to carry that until further notice.
Oh boy.
And I remember we had a lot of fun with Klingons when we did that. I was Cathor, of course, based on Thor, and I had a sledgehammer that I used to carry around, a sewed-up sledgehammer. And we did a lot of creative things, some which wound up back on the show. So, a fun time, because we had a lot of people from the show come to our events. And then the things we did at the events at Creation Convention, other conventions, used to wind up on TV. So that was a really fun time. And Brian, how about
Cons
you?
are fun.
Share?
Well, basically, like Tina said, we've been doing cons for years and years and years. And, we've had the Odyssey going. We've been involved with the 501st with Imperial Armor for Star Wars. We've done comic related stuff. We've done all kinds of different things.
Well, I want to do something new in fandom, and I too, my health is not the best right now. I have diabetes type 2, which affects me because I have neuropathy, so that affects my balance. And I have Parkinson's, which gives me tremors at inconvenient times. So my health is not that great, but I really want to do something convention-wise or fandom-wise. So we get started online, and we have a show already, so we can continue it on the show. Would you guys be interested in participating? We could discuss that tonight.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I have no qualms about it.
Okay, great. Like you, Pam, I was very much enamored of the show Who Mourns Adonis on Star Trek because it dealt with the Greek gods. And although later things that they did with that story, like they did a graphic novel series, they did a photo series in one of the comic books. They expanded the story in books. They did a Star Trek Continues story on it. So there are continuations to the story. And Peter David, in his books, touched the story. And he had the child of Apollo and Palamas on his Excalibur series. He was Mark Henry, and he used to drive the Excalibur with his eyes closed and kind of spacing out. I don't know if you guys read the Excalibur series in Star Trek, the books. Peter David wrote them.
Well, I have some of Peter David's book. I'll have to look again. But so many books came out that I just quit, and it's like I can't keep up, or else I can't live my life.
Yeah, I know. I have so many books. I'm trying to find homes for them right now. I don't want to just donate them to Salvation Army. I'm trying to find homes for a lot of my Star Trek stuff.
I have some of those that were not approved by Paramount before Paramount approved Star Trek books. That's how far back I go.
Wow.
Like all of us here, you're a fossil from the days gone by.
Yes, I still have them on my bookcase.
Me too. I have them on my bookcase and in boxes in the basement.
I found out one was worth $75 now.
Oh, wow. Which one?
Oh, geez. It was even in hardback with a colored cover. I'll have to let you know later. It's up there somewhere. It's one of the first books I got. Oh yeah, there it is. Anyway, if I get up and look for it, I'll lose you guys, so I don't want to do that.
Don't worry about it. Tina and Brian, how about you?
Regarding our books or regarding
Well, you got into Star Trek extensively. Would you be interested in doing something based on, to start, Who Mourns for Adonis?
Yeah, I've always loved Apollo,
certainly,
so
yes.
Okay, I've asked these questions before, but I got busy with a lot of other things, never came back to it. Now that we're doing StarGate and so forth. Now, what I was thinking was Apollo disappeared. And so Olympus is going to find out what happened to Apollo. Now, the Olympians are gods already. So they can travel through time and other dimensions. So the first mission will be, what the hell happened to Apollo? He's not there anymore.
Well, didn't Athena and Zeus take him? He said, take me, take me. You were right.
Yeah, but then he appeared in a Star Trek Continued episode, the first one. So he didn't actually disappear. And it seems that he wasn't very truthful about some of the other things he said.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
We'll assume that Apollo. I have in one of the groups that are on Facebook links to the original episode and links to the Star Trek Continued episode with Apollo. And Athena supposedly dies in that episode, but we're not going to go by that. So the Olympians are very dramatic. They invented drama. So we're
Like
just,
in Percy Jackson, huh?
yeah, we're just going to go with, you can't really trust everything that they said. And
That
which
just
Olympian
do it
did
like
you?
the X-Men. Oh, they're dead, but they get better.
They get better, yeah, like in Monty Python.
Oh boy. Hmm.
So which Olympian were you when you went in costume, Pam?
Um, well, I wasn't an Olympian, but I was the female he was enamored of.
OLYMOUS?
Yes.
So do you want to play a mortal who's like a familiar to the gods, or do you want to play one of the gods?
Oh, Artemis. Hands
Artemis.
down, Artemis. She and I are pals.
So
She's listening in, by the way.
she's what? I'm sorry.
Artemis is listening in, by the way.
Hi, Artemis. How are you doing?
I can't say that. Jeez.
You can. It's the internet. You can say anything you want. All right.
Well,
And,
I
if
choose not to.
you were Olympians or Star Trek people involved with the Olympians, who would you be?
I'd like to say Artemis, but also the second goddess I was really enamored of was Athena, because she had all the strategy. She had a brilliant mind, and you couldn't sass her. You know, she was a free spirit. And I'm not saying I'm a free spirit, but I love the strategy.
Well, in Greek mythology, Athena had the word paladin comes from the Pallas, Athena, and
Yes, that was her best friend.
a lot of it was her best friend that she accidentally killed when she was a youth, and those are a series of myths that aren't generally known. But since I already have an Athena, you'd be Pallas, one of the paladins of Athena, if you wanted to be Athena.
That's cool.
Okay, good.
Okay.
How about you?
Who else?
Athena?
Yeah, Athena. Yeah. Um, Demeter.
Dimitra, yeah?
Yeah. All the plants and things and stuff that grows from the ground. I sort of have a green thumb. Yeah. And the roses, when I clip my roses and stuff, they get blood out of me and they just like phenomenally grow like they're in tropical land.
Okay,
So
so
I got fairy blood. Yay,
Dimitra, okay.
Demeter.
Tina Chandler, how about you?
Oh my goodness. As a Greek goddess? Oh
As a
my
Greek
goodness.
Star Trek person assigned to the Greek gods, what would you like to be?
What would I like to be? Oh, wow. Can I get back to you though? Because I'm not sure. I mean, I like to meet her myself. Although Hera might be one because I have to herd cats all the time, so I'm kind of comfortable with herding cats.
Oh, they heard me.
And Brian, how about you?
Not a clue.
The Odyssey, assigned to Pollux 4, I think it was, where the Greek gods lived, or where Apollo lived.
I
Who are
don't
you
know. I'm a
asking?
sucker for the Hercules movie. So, hi, Hades, Lord of the Underworld. How you doing?
Yay!
So you want to be Hades?
Sure. Only if I could play him like James Woods.
Only if you can play what? I'm sorry.
Only if I could play Hades like James Woods from the Disney Hercules movie.
Oh, he's
Oh,
fantastic. When I do role-playing games for kids, I used to do them in libraries and I do them in schools. And I base my Hades on the James Wood Hades. He's a lot of fun. The kids love him. And even though the Hades that I present in the role-playing games it hasn't done anything bad to anybody, they all suspect him of planning bad things. The really funniest thing in the world.
Oh, the worst part about the whole thing is with the boys, they can be pain and panic. So we're good there too.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we'll start with that. What I will do between now and the next show is I will create a scenario for role playing. I'll set up a by Facebook role playing game on Facebook, and this way it'll be a return to Pollux 4. So we were sent there to find out if we're Olympians, what happened to Apollo, and if we're Starfleet people, what happened to Apollo. And we're on a joint mission to find out the truth of what happened. And I'll weave a story about that that incorporates all of the material that's been subsequently generated about it.
awesome.
And we'll do our version of it.
Oh, goody.
That'll become what happened to it as far as we're concerned, and then we'll do another one. And
Oh God.
after we finish that, I'll do one from StarGate. What does that say? Oh, fudge?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of him and doing the Hades thing. It's like, oh God, no.
There's supposed to be a movie there coming out too, a live action Hercules by Disney.
Oh, boy.
And then
I've heard that,
Hercules
but
appeared
I
in the
don't know how
Marvel
it's going to
movie,
be.
Thor: Love and Thunder briefly. So they're
Oh, yeah.
hinting that he's coming back too. So Disney's doing a bunch of Thor, and Disney owns Percy Jackson. So
Oh,
Hercules and
I love Zeus on Snapchat. That was cool.
what was that? I didn't catch that.
I said I loved Zeus on Snapchat.
There's a Snapchat Zeus?
Yeah, there's a Snapchat Zeus in the first Percy Jackson book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the
Yeah,
series.
they even showed it on the Disney Channel on their show.
Yeah,
Now,
all the gods were so modernized in Percy Jackson. It's so awesome. It's funny.
now in Star Trek, there are gates too. There was a series in the books of gates that they're like the Guardian of Forever, if I remember correctly. And they spanned every single Star Trek. They had the original series. They had Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Voyager, The Next Generation, and they all have a story about gates, and all the stories tied together. So there are these gates in Star Trek, and of course there's the Guardian of Forever, which was a gate that took you to different places in the past. So, what do you guys remember of the gates in Star Trek?
Oh gosh. The
It's
time that
book
Spock
series
went
you're talking
back.
about, but
Okay, and is that with the young girl in the frozen landscape? I seem to vaguely remember.
Zara Beth.
Yes, Sarah Beth.
And evidently she had a son by Spock way back in the past. And he never went back to kind of claim him, just let it be. And of course, the depression thing played by Joan Collins. And they went back in time to get Dr. McCoy.
Yes,
Yeah, Spock had to hide his ears under a knit cap. But
yes. They had to buy components to make a computer of some sort, like a drone
yeah,
computer. Okay, Tina, what do you remember?
Oh wow. Well, of course, the Guardian of Forever. And the book that Pamela was mentioning. And I think there was a couple of fan fictions that talked about that too, of work that Star Trek did, or the Federation did with Memory Alpha
Oh yeah.
a long time ago. I read that series, so
I don't remember Memory Alpha. I remember the words ring bells in my mind, but I can't really summon much of the story. Do you remember any more than that?
it's been so long. These were like when you could walk down at a convention to the artist alley and you buy people's own sci-fi fiction books that they've written. And there was a couple of them that I picked up that had a couple of small storylines from Memory Alpha, and I just wish I knew what happened to them. Brian, you remember?
Don't know right off the top of my head.
Couldn't remember you brought him here or if you had left him. Okay.
They're probably in a box somewhere with all the other Trek stuff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yay,
we-
boxes.
Magazine called Void Warrior, and it was a Klingon themed magazine, but it was very Star Trek with other science fiction. And we tied with like other fan fiction Klingon stuff, like the new Ormanel universe. We used their stuff a lot, as well as Peter David's Klingon stuff. And we developed our own culture. They were supposed to make a return of Star Trek television, and there was an episode called Katumba, which was like a Klingon high pope. So of course I became the Katumba Klingon fandom in New York City, and we used we had Asgard. That was the name of the house that we all belonged to, which is based on Asgard, of course.
All right. I got a question. Wasn't there something in Next Gen or Deep Space Nine where Dax went back in time to Earth, like maybe 2022 or something, and there was a whole bunch of tribbles?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That was the Tribulations. It was the Defiant going back in time to the time of the original Tribble episode. And they worked it in with one of those predestination paradox things. But there was another one where a different episode where in DS9 they went back to like the 21st century and they
Right.
incorporated it. And Cisco had to act like he was one of these historical figures. And it ended up being where the original guy got killed and Cisco stepped into the role.
Yeah, I remember somebody looking at one of the Klingons with the smooth forehead and say, "That's a Klingon?" And he said, "We don't talk about it."
We do not discuss it.
Yeah.
That was Odo. But yeah, with Next Gen or whatnot, it was all pretty much just the Iconian gateways. They had those in, I think it was like second season. They've done a series of books with those. And DS9 has the Bajoran orbs that have gates sometimes,
Right.
or
Right.
teleportations, or whatever you want to call them, where they put people in different places. So,
And I remember the Ferengi were the Roswell aliens in one episode.
mhm.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was through some wormhole or some warp imbalance. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that episode.
We can never forget Q.
No, Q was great, and John Delancey was great. I used to hang out with him at conventions occasionally, and he was great. I was trying to sell my own science fiction universe at the time, and he introduced me to some network people, and so it didn't go anywhere, but I was grateful for it. And
Yeah.
Peter David, I enjoyed hanging out with too, although he was he seemed very depressed at some of the times I saw him.
I've only met John Delancey once, and he is humongous.
Yes.
I'm looking up and I'm looking up, I'm looking at him, and it's just, hello down there.
He's like what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Something like that.
Yeah, a great person too. He didn't look down on fans or fan efforts. He was always very polite and very helpful, and he was a lot of fun. I remember.
Yeah. All right. 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 All right.
Now, one of the things I want to touch on too in the role-playing game is the role of the gods in not only Stargate, where we know about the gold and the ascended and so forth, but in Star Trek, where it's a little bit uh, less clear. Star Trek seems to be anti-God. So, like for instance, Star Trek V, the movie, God was not a good guy. And in the first pilot episode, where no man has gone before, Gary, I forget his name, uh, Gary Mitchell, or was that his
Yeah,
name?
Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, he became a god, and that wasn't a good thing. So Star Trek didn't like people becoming gods or encountering gods, or even Apollo is not a good thing in Star Trek. So I want to examine that. Why are gods not good things in Star Trek? And Q was definitely a god of sorts, and he wasn't a good thing in Star Trek either.
Well, Trek always plays it off as it's either advanced science or more powerful aliens that their powers, if you want to call them that, are indistinguishable from magic or myth or whatever. And they play it off as it's just an advanced being, not necessarily a god per se.
But why is that a bad thing? In Star Trek, it seems to always be a bad thing.
I guess it's because of Greek mythology. People have humanized the gods in order to understand them. They're not necessarily human type beings. They might look like them. They can look like anything, but
Yeah,
it was magic to our ancestors, and to understand them, they had to give them emotions and physical form and stuff like that, which is very primal, primeval. We understand now that they are different types of beings, but the mythology remains embedded in the history of humanity. And it's maybe a mirror of humanity itself, reflected in the gods.
that's very true, and that's right out in the mist. They don't really hide it. Like when Semele asked Zeus to show himself in his true form, he appeared as a being of light who was beyond their comprehension,
Yeah.
and that ultimately destroyed her. And also, the gods in the mythology can take any shape they want, and they can interfere in human affairs directly or indirectly. So they could influence somebody, or they could appear as somebody. So Athena, for instance, uh, the word mentoring comes from the role Athena played in the Odyssey to Telemachus, who was Odysseus' son. And that was Athena. It's not really clear whether there was a real mentor figure and she influenced him, or whether she appeared as mentor. But mentor was Athena and things that he said to Telemachus. So that's stated right openly in the mythology, and also that the gods used humans as vehicles, and that they interfered in human affairs. That's very clear in the mythology also. Hercules, who was the son of Zeus, so it was a direct plan of Zeus to create him, was from the line of Perseus. Perseus was his great grandfather. So Perseus was created for challenges in his time, and Hercules was created to help the gods in their war against the giants. And that's very clearly stated. So the gods mated in the mythologies, but created vehicles in UFO understanding to house their spirits. So Greek mythology becomes like not a genetic experiment like with the Sumerian gods, but a selective breeding experiment to create vehicles for the gods in order for the gods to remain active in our sphere. So that's stated like right out. There's nothing hidden about it or occult about it.
If I might digress a little
Well,
bit,
Sure.
in other writings, like in Theosophy,
Hmm.
the oncology of the archangels and the angels was to direct humanity on a path toward its evolution. And
Right.
sometimes it got pretty brutal, and they used whole groups of people, in wars and stuff, just to purify blood because the human blood evidently was bad. And I'm just, wondering, the watchers that we call gods and goddesses
Mhm.
might have done the same thing, and so they blamed the gods. They had a little bit of an inkling of what was going on. But like you say, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing because it's not complete. And so it was an intent of mankind to blame the gods for the direction they were going in.
That's Pam, I lost your voice. You got muted. Let's see if I can.
Did we lose her?
Was that you, Pam?
No, it was Tina. I was asking if we lost her.
I think we did. I can still see her picture. Let me see if I can
Okay.
ask unmute, and maybe she'll be able to find the. No, she's not muted.
Hmm.
Pam, you're not muted. Something got disconnected somehow. Well, while she's connecting, Tina and Brian, are you familiar with Theosophy or Neo-Theosophy, the I Am movement, or things like that?
Yeah, and a few things that Gene Roddenberry was into before he came up with Star Trek, or while he was coming up with Star Trek is all. So I guess if you're looking at the basics and the beginnings of Star Trek, and you have to look at the things that was influencing him, like Theosophy. He did believe in ancient astronaut theory.
Right.
He did speak with mediums, and you could see a lot of that coming to the show. But a lot of stuff that, especially now that most religions don't want you to look at or to even think about regarding ancient science or ancient astronauts or the opposite or anything like that, is that you have to think, and you have to think beyond faith. You have to think beyond what they're putting out there as logos.
Right.
And right. And it's not logos. According to them, no, it's not logos. They're not speaking their truth. They're not understanding the truth, and the truth is God, and the God, and and that's something that my grandmother, going back to my growing up, she hated about Star Trek, because if it was nothing about God, then it was had nothing to do with God, and therefore it was of Satan and this, that, and the other. And she used to get on my mom terribly for having us watch a show that was ungodly, satanic, and everything else. And my mom says, "Why? Why are you saying that? Because they want people to think for themselves."
Yeah, I believe
And
for yourself.
oh, no, that's okay. Go ahead.
One of the things I don't like about Theosophy, I love Theosophy. One of the things I don't like about Theosophy is the calling the ascended ones masters and calling the unascended ones chelas. The word chela means a bunch of different things. It could mean student, it could mean disciple, but it also means slave. So I'm against that altogether. But I've been using theosophical concepts to explore some of the truths behind the cosmic religions. So I have shows on the Urantia book. I have shows on Unarius. I've had shows on the Aetherius Society. I have shows on the Sixth Revelation. So, because these shows, the information that they're sharing, even though it's coming from channeled material in the 20th and 21st centuries, or the 19th century as well, it's old because I recognize it from ancient sources. So whatever is communicating with us through these channeled offerings, it has been communicating with us for thousands of years. So I have some shows dedicated to that. So if you and Brian are into that type of thing too, I'll invite you to those shows as well. We have one called the Cerulean Sphere, and cerulean means blue. It's a type of blue, and
Right.
a heavenly blue, if you will. So the cerulean sphere is a study of the cosmic spiritualities that aren't religions per se, but they have you working in concert with the angels, the archangels, and the Elohim and things like that to do certain things on the planet. So the blue sphere is about communication. It's about the throat chakra. It's about finding your ideal and sticking with your own ideal so that the God that you honor is the God within yourself. And to thyself be true and things like that. So again, I'm getting off topic a little bit. But if you and Brian are into that type of stuff, I'll gladly invite you to that as well.
What do you think, Big?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, great. And Pam, are you back? Pam, I still have you. I don't have you muted here still. Let me check again. The medicine for the condition that I have, the Parkinson's, does bad things to your eyes. And so I'm trying to deal with that right now. Nope. Okay, Pam, I don't know if you could hear us now, but you're not muted. The connection is open on this end, but we're not hearing you. So something probably got disconnected. And as always, before I start things, I ask what do people want to do besides the things that I want to do. So Tina, where would you like this journey to go?
Regarding to Star Trek and Stargate, there's a lot to chew about and talk about. So it's a subject that will never stop. Theosophy, things like that. Again, that's something that's always growing, always going to the next pathway. When we think we've discovered all the pathways, then all of a sudden a new one opens up under the starry-eyed trail.
Okay, good place to go. Brian, how about you? Where would you like to go with this journey we're taking?
I'll follow her. She knows more than I do about it.
Okay, that sounds really good. And Pam, let's hopefully we're connected again. Are we connected again? Okay, we're not. So how about for the next episode, we again we do a soft reboot and we started Who Mourns for Adonis. I'll list a little review of all the different things that are out on that episode that have continued it, and I'll put links to it. And this way everybody can see the episode, can see the Star Trek Continued episode, and we'll get an idea of what's in the books, so the paperback books and the graphic novels that exist that are based on it. And how about we start there?
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. And
Yeah.
the one we'll do after that is the first pilot episode of Star Trek, not the one that became The Cage, but Where No Man Has Gone Before with Gary Mitchell. And we'll look at that. And we'll do what we're doing with Star Trek, what we did with Stargate. We'll just start from the beginning and go through the episodes. Sound good?
Works for me.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else wants to add to our conversation today?
Pam says microphone.
I'm sorry?
Pam says microphone.
Pam says microphone?
Did
Holds
Pa-
up a note that says microphone. I guess her microphone's off or out or something.
Okay. I don't see the message, but I see Pam's picture. Okay.
Pam, you better hope your little placard again.
How about you, Brian? What would you like our journey to bring us to or to explore?
like you say, going through the episodes to kind of nitpick those would be good. Branching off into the Trek Continues thing is good too. I like how they expanded on the mythology and the storyline from like Who Mourns for Adonis and several of the other ones to kind of pick up the threads and then more or less finish out the series. So they incorporated some more modern, if you want to call it that, thoughts into the episodes.
All right, so we'll introduce that as well. So the next episode we'll talk about Who Mourns for Adonis, and we'll talk about the Star Trek Continues series and where people can find it. And we'll take it from there. And then StarGate, we already talked about what we're going to be doing for that. And would you guys also like to occasionally leave Star Trek and StarGate and explore something else?
Like to leave the Star Trek and Stargate?
Take occasional breaks from
Oh, locational. Okay.
StarGate, I'm sorry, and Star Trek. And like I'd like to explore the Marvel Cosmic Universe. We can do an episode or two on that. And this way we'll just take a break from what we normally do every now and again and explore something different to touch upon the wider range of science fiction. We're doing to create a different show for that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, that works.
Same shows or different, create a third show?
What? Yeah. Maybe we can keep it as a break from the show, and if anything comes out of it, maybe develop into a third show.
Okay, that sounds perfect to me. Okay.
Okay.
How can people contact you?
Best way to find me is Facebook. Just search for my name and you'll find me.
Okay, Tina, how about you?
Same here, Facebook.
Pamela's reachable on Facebook as well, and as am I. And I'm also contactable through YouTube, where we air our shows. This show will air either late tonight or early tomorrow morning, so it'll be viewable by all. And in case we don't connect personally between now and then, I'd like to wish you all a happy holiday.
You too.
You too.
Thank you. And to those at home, happy holiday, joyous journeys, and amazing adventures. And Pam, we wish you could be with us right now, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So onward and upward, and to be continued later on. Thanks, everybody.
See you
Thanks.
soon. Be safe.
You too.